All right, so ready when you guys are.
Yep.
I was born ready.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the setting this time. So it's March 27th, 1980. It's Skamania County, Washington. It's 83 kilometers northeast of Portland, Oregon. We're going to be going to Mount St. Helens. So Mount St. Helens is a stratovolcano, and in this year, it wakes up. After a series of cataclysmic phreatic blasts, its rumble would escalate until May 18th, 1980, and then we've got a major explosion. So this explosion is massive. It's got a direct blast zone of about 13 kilometers and a second intermediate zone of 31 kilometers. It would spew up a wall of ash 64 kilometers wide and 24 kilometers high. And this could be seen as far as Oklahoma. It would set a sea of chaos, trees half tall, scorched earth, snapped trunks, and stripped land caked for decades. And this ash would linger for weeks afterwards. The eruption of Mount St. Helens would claim 57 lives, many of them photographers and volcanologists who were keeping an eye on these blasts, and it would strike a 5 on the Volcano Explosivity Index, the most significant eruption on the contiguous United States since 1915. However, this episode isn't about Mount St. Helens.
I was gonna say, because that's fucking depressing as hell. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was in the wrong podcast.
Yeah, I
for a
was
second.
just like, oh crap, I'm ready to be like, more like Batsquatch, more like Dick Squatch, and then it's like, oh crap, 57 people died.
Yes. So this episode is what came after it, which
This
were a
episode.
series of sightings of Batsquatch, baby. Hell yeah.
Let's go!
All right.
Batsquatch.
Yeah, so it's really funny that we're going to be starting this off with a really depressing
Oh, yeah,
discussion of what
hilarious.
happened at Mount St. Helens. The sheer destruction, the lives lost, and then we're talking about Batsquatch.
So is Batsquatch like a kaiju? Does it live in the volcano? Is this why we're talking about the volcano?
Well, we're going to get into that, but first let's sort of run through a little bit of podcast admin stuff. So, first off, welcome everybody to the second episode of Clearanceoncreepy, the, I guess, failed paranormal podcast in shorts.
Hell
yeah, we're starting as failures so we can't lose.
Exactly.
Yes,
There's
that's
only way
true.
but down.
That's true. Absolutely. That's something that I think I've described the reasoning behind this podcast to people, which is that if you set the bar really low, theoretically, the only way you can go is up. So,
Or
you know,
if
Yeah,
you
we're rock bottom.
But what if you're so bad that, like, you become a drill. And you go even
Yeah.
further, subterranean. You go
Oh,
like
that's
Mariana's
true.
Trench deep.
hell yes.
Yeah, at some point this
Absolutely.
podcast will just become reaction videos to Chill's
Exactly.
commentaries.
Oh, dude, I was already planning that.
Oh, what?
Number 13, Batsquatch.
So, okay, let's get started onto the meat of the podcast here.
Okay, so back to all those people who died, tragically.
Absolutely. So, Batsquatch.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Batsquatch is a highly contested cryptid sighted around Mount St. Helens after the May 1980 eruption. It's a portmanteau of Sasquatch and Bat, which
Oh, shit, I
is
didn't
just-
realize.
Okay, yeah, of course. It's described as a hairy primate with leather bat wings, and
Oh, shit.
it's very interesting because I guess, if you look at Batsquatch today on Google search, you're largely going to get results for an IPA beer, because that's mainly what Batsquatch is known for, the Batsquatch beer.
Right.
I see.
There's very little information on the Batsquatch cryptid itself. I mean, you thought the Loveland frog thing was difficult. Finding good info on Batsquatch is real rough.
I mean, he's bad and he's Squatch. What else do you need to know?
Yeah. According to legend, and this is drawn from the incredibly obnoxiously written Portland Ghost article, Batsquatch is a 9-foot tall creature weighing about 2 grown grizzly bears with yellow eyes, blue-tinged dark fur, razor-sharp teeth, a wolf-like muzzle, bird-like wings, a broad muscle-bound torso, and bat-like wings spanning up to 50 feet. Now, people listening to this very carefully might have noticed, wait a minute, Joe, you already described it as having bird-like wings. What do you mean by bat-like wings? And the answer is, well, this is why I described the Portland Ghost article as very obnoxiously written.
Well, could have had both. Could have two sets of wings, not
Yeah,
necessarily mutually exclusive.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that one set is one thing and the other set's another thing. It's described as like these wings are like this.
Yeah. See, what got me more about that description was that they said it weighed the weight of 2 grizzly bears, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
How do they know that? They weigh the
weigh themselves?
motherfucker? Or was that like
I don't know.
self-reported? He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm shredded.
I don't
No,
know.
I'm huge. Yeah. Oh, don't mess with me. I'm 2. Because I mean,
That's a very heavy creature. Though.
yeah, that's insanely heavy.
So you might find this interesting, right? But the story of Batsquatch and its sightings is a story of the failure of local reporting.
Oh, truly. Okay.
So Batsquatch was also reputed to have the powers of telekinesis, and it could affect man-made objects like car engines, radios, and television sets.
What about
And,
non-man-made objects?
Like what?
Like the seatbelt that was invented by a woman.
No, he has no power against them. It's like Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am no man, so.
So does he have like a sonic
that
ray?
ends-
Does he shoot it out of his mouth like a bat? Does he just go, oh, and then just shoot this laser
Yeah,
that
right,
just
yeah.
fucks over cars?
Like the
How do you do
telekinesis
this?
ray?
Yeah, you have to come out with his bat sewn a mouth or something?
So we are not entirely sure, and when I say we, I speaking in the royal we. I'm not speaking on behalf of any paranormal organization, but it's not entirely sure exactly how the powers of telekinesis have occurred. It is simply a symptomatic reading as a result of people describing what's happened to their equipment when they see Batsquatch. Now, of course,
see.
interestingly, this also affects cameras, which is why we've never
right.
had a photo of Batsquatch, you know?
Maybe just
Oh, that's
everyone.
the reason.
Maybe it's just a big coincidence, and everyone just forgot to charge their batteries,
That
at the
is
same
true.
time.
Yep.
Like the whole crew had a wild night out the night before. Everyone forgot to, throw them on charge. And they go,
What
holy
about
shit!
painters,
Look,
though?
yeah, that's
Let's go back to the cave painters, right? Just bring a big old canvas with you and just start
Well,
painting very thick.
same
true.
thing.
Maybe-
same thing.
dude,
Their brushes
maybe that's
ran out
why.
of battery.
What? Fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Have you ever
Even
thought
Cintiq
about that?
isn't going to work?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we have cave paintings.
Exactly.
Maybe that's
Probably.
why. You go to like those cave paintings in like France, and they're just like back then. This was the early human civilization, but like in reality, they were just like, no, we have smartphone, but because of cryptid, we cannot take pictures. We have to draw it, and no artists in our group.
That's really interesting because then there must be a cryptid war, and that's why there's so few of them left.
That's right. That is true. This makes just as much sense as any other paranormal theory out there.
Yeah.
Ours is better because we made it up on the spot. At least we're honest about it.
How come the Neanderthal was speaking English? And
Okay,
Translator.
First of all, have you ever look? English is the lingua franca. Okay,
Yeah, but now.
it could have been the lingua franca back then.
Yeah, it could have been,
Maybe
but
that's
it
why.
wasn't.
Okay, well, how you can't disprove that?
That's true. You got me there.
Yeah, right.
No, we
That's
run a
how
podcast
that's how
here
arguments
for
work.
People who
you
speak
can't
English.
disprove what I just said. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we run a
Falsifiability.
podcast for the English world. We need to translate these things. We need to adapt
That's true.
them for our audience so they understand with us. Because we all speak Neanderthal, but
Yeah.
we can't just be like throwing that out there.
Well,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is I'm sure we have a few Neanderthal listeners, so it might just be a nice little nod to them if we actually, are historically accurate.
I mean, maybe all our listeners are. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
The analytics aren't that strong.
Yeah,
Also, I haven't
Neanderthal
looked at them.
listeners.
So.
Yeah, they're really into NFTs.
Now that's a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Bazinga. Anyway, what are we talking about? Batsquatch, yeah.
I love that you made your own. I love that you implemented your own like comedic sound effect.
You put your own catchphrase in there.
Well,
Yeah,
how is
I'm
the
glad we got
audience?
to that point.
You've got a joke is not enough to let the audience know that they can't laugh at it on its own merits. You have to let them know that was a joke. You have to laugh at
I
this.
see.
That's,
Don't you throw in like a ka-chow every
Yeah,
time?
exactly.
Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. Maybe it'll
No,
help you in your own
Explain
comedic
jokes
journey.
is very funny.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm not trying to make this comedic. I'm trying to approach this seriously and in
Oh,
an
yeah?
academic fashion.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to get to the correspondence college of the University.
Well, here's
of
my
Tampa.
Correspondence.
here's my serious question here. Though. So, like, what separates Batsquatch from a man bat?
Are you talking about the Batman character?
Yeah,
Man
that's
Bat?
what I was thinking.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just
Oh
a
wait,
man bat.
you didn't? You weren't talking about Man Bat?
I thought you were
Just
talking about
a man
You-
bat,
you had,
like
like,
a
a
character
different-
who is a bestial bat that is also a man.
Yeah, that's
but-
Man Bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
Man bat
what
from
separates
Batman.
man bat from
Yeah.
Batsquatch outside of like the telekinetic powers?
Okay,
Copyright.
so yeah, realistically, it's copyright. Yeah. You can get sued for one of them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's Batsquatch.
Well, so Batsquatch, the descriptions for Batsquatch actually vary quite wildly. When we get into the 1994 sighting by Canfield, the description changes from the Portland Ghosts article description, and it's a lot less obnoxious. So I want to go back to the 1980 sightings though, because from 1980 there's the urban legend of Batsquatch is that the sightings began after the eruption of Mount St. Helens, but there's actually very little evidence to corroborate that people actually saw Batsquatch. And I don't mean like there are no photos and therefore it did not happen. I'm mainly talking about the fact that it's very difficult to find concrete evidence that people actually claim that they saw Batsquatch. So in this sense, I couldn't find any newspaper articles, and I couldn't find anything going back. I couldn't find any names. I couldn't find any people. I couldn't find, like, I don't know, the town of Small Dick, Washington or something of like 40 people, and they all have small dicks.
Yeah.
They saw like
Shit.
something flying in the skies after the explosion of Mount St. Helens before they were horribly mutilated by ash clouds, right? I couldn't find anything about that. The first sighting by somebody that we actually have a name and interview and information on is a teenager named Brian Canfield who was driving his pickup truck in 1994. So this one, coming from the original News Tribune article, I'm going to describe this 1 second. So it says, Canfield's headlights cut a hole through the night. He sat wondering what was wrong. Then he saw the feet descending, bird feet, claw feet, then the legs, the torso, the chest, and the wings folded attached to the back of broad shoulders. Then the head, that face, the creature 9 feet tall, 30 feet away, blue-tinted fur, yellowish eyes, tufted ears, and straight, sharp teeth. With a dust-raising thud, it landed. It turned its head and looked back at me and started flapping its wings, Canfield said. Then it slowly rose, and so great was the turbulence that the truck began to rock and away. Slowly the creature flew off in the direction of Mount Rainier. So no, this was not a section from a Goosebumps book. This was
Yeah, I was
from
gonna
an
say, this
actual
guy's like a fucking lit student.
Well,
Yeah,
that was like fucking like some like DeviantArt fan fiction like original character Digimon like what the fuck, bird claws, blue matted fur, 9 feet tall.
yeah.
It's
So
scripted. I'll give him that.
Yeah, the name's Batsquatch. It doesn't really seem much like elements of Sasquatch in there. It seems like it's a bat crossed with the bird.
okay, first of all, it's a big. Okay, it's big. It's 9 feet
Big
tall.
birds can get big, you know.
Yeah, it's got tufted ears and straight, sharp teeth. All right. I
Oh,
don't see any
like
birds with teeth.
yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's true. Geese have teeth.
Tiny.
Exactly.
They look terrifying.
Yeah, they're no fun at all. Also, someone could just put them on there, you know, bit of glue.
Oh, that's
Are
a
you
that's
saying
a
someone
great
could
Sunny
fake a
Philadelphia.
creature
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
tell people it is not a magical creature or something?
Yeah, could have
Well,
just
so there is something that Canfield said that is almost always a red flag when it comes to the veracity of an event. Where he said, "I wasn't drinking or doing pot. I swear to God."
this is very specific, suspiciously specific in his denial.
That's
I thought you were
that's-
going to say he said it was a dark and stormy night or something.
Oh no, I would actually put a lot more credence when people say something like, It was a dark and stormy night. My wife, who's a bitch, by the way, was
Yeah.
out. She was at Kroger's, and then I saw it, night crawlers.
Kroger's.
Yeah. So like, I would give people a lot more leeway if they just leaned into the sort of generic dark and stormy night things. What I do not give leeway is whenever people are just like, I'm a skeptic. So like, I'm the last person you would actually expect
Oh,
to
yeah,
believe
that-
in ghosts. And I'm just like, no, you're not.
Yeah, that's always bullshit.
You're
If
not
you were
a
skeptic,
skeptic.
you would not have reported this.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. You would have
be
been like,
embarrassed.
I got mold in my apartment.
Yeah.
You know? You'd be like, oh shit, somebody's in my house.
Yeah. You'd be like,
You know, you would not, a skeptic's first response would not be, oh my god, there's a ghost.
yeah. So like a skeptic's first response if they saw Batsquatch would be like someone like someone got their fursuit on and like just did a lot
Yeah.
of crack.
It's just like, okay, I must be hallucinating. I must be tired.
Man, maybe they just think, man, that was a big fucking bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or,
that's like, it's like
that's
with
a
Loveland
huge bat.
Frog, you know? It's because it's always in the middle of the night. Like, you know, people are tired. Like, your eyes aren't that good, you know? It could have just been a really, really big fucking bat, and they were just like, oh, it was Batsquatch Birdman, whatever.
Yeah, it's always like, it's always somebody who's completely compromised, you know?
Oh.
It's never somebody who's just like, yeah, I was driving down I-40. My dick was hard as shit. I've been chewing on Bluetooth for like 5 hours now.
Are you drawing
I
from
have
personal
really
experience
bad-
here? Because that's too specific to be a bit.
You know, you got really
It
bad.
sounds like it was a
priapism.
sponsorship plug we don't have yet.
For Blue Chews?
You got,
Oh, yeah.
You got binoculars like taped to your eyes or something.
Maybe the Blue Chews, yeah, if someone was chewing the Blue Chews, it would give them enough clarity to realize what actually is happening.
I'm just saying, okay, you get very few sightings from people who are at like the top of their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like in the middle of the night when they're tired, you know.
There's no people like 2 p.m. at work, right? Oh, yeah, it was 2 p.m.
Yeah.
at work. I looked outside the window, and
Yeah,
he was
broad
just sitting
daylight.
there on a bench, yeah.
It's always
So-
like, yeah, these sightings always boil down to somebody who's like, yeah, I was driving at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. I've got like, I just finished doing like 8 bits of LSD, but you know what?
We're not going to...
I'm the last person you would talk to about ghosts. Like the Loveland Frog, right? It's really interesting because Batsquatch came in pairs in terms of its sightings. So we got the 1994 sighting, but then we also got another sighting the same year by Butch Whitaker, who he said was able to snap a couple of photos as he saw it flying away from Mount St. Helens. But interestingly enough, he's never released these photos. But I 100%
Oh, he has them,
believe
though.
he has them. He has them. He says
Well,
he has them.
He's planning to turn them into NFTs, you know, so
Yeah, it's true.
he can't.
So this would be a film camera, right? Because it's like 94?
Yeah, 1994, yeah.
So, like, is Batsquatch's powers even enough to take down analog media?
I
yeah,
have
that's a good
no
point.
idea.
Yeah, like
I have
it's
no
going to destroy
idea.
the film. Like,
Maybe he's got, I don't know, maybe he's got like some vintage pornography or something also on that where he's just like, I can't risk this seeing the light of
Yeah.
day. The nitrate will like disintegrate if I do.
we said 1994. That's interesting because, like, you know, like how many of these cryptids are like, in terms of folklore and stuff. How many of them are just like, you know, like obviously like these days anyone can make up any old like bullshit. Even though like, you know, the existence of HD cameras everywhere all the time on everyone's phones should this, you know, mean that like there are less, you know, of these fake paranormal, you know, clearly made in After Effects type things, you know.
I don't
It's
know.
like
We
the-
have a
the-
lot of objective proof nowadays. Have you ever heard of the Fresno Nightcrawler?
Well, what I'm saying is, it's like there's paradoxically more of them, even though everyone has like HD cameras, and I guess that's just because everyone can like make up anything and put it on the internet, right? But like, it makes me wonder, like, how many, like, throughout history, how many of these like legends, like I keep forgetting, we barely talked about it. Batsquatch.
Batsquatch.
Yeah, Batsquatch. How many of like things like Batsquatch have existed, but just like because only it would just stay in that small town and never go any further than that?
Well, there's probably a fair couple of like local
yeah.
folklore.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's been stories of goat men that goes beyond the promulgation of recording technology. Something like that. But those discussing folklore in terms of like a general cultural anthropological lineage oftentimes revolves back to like these sort of quasi racist understandings of like stuff. Because oftentimes it's like, yeah, this thing that's always been an element of our town, the Native Americans had a term for this too. And it's just like, I don't know if you should be making these claims.
Just looked up pictures of Batsquatch on Google Images. That's pretty funny. They're not consistent because, like you said, the fur was blue and matted, right?
Yeah.
But some of these, some of the depictions of the fur varies. Sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's brown, sometimes it's white, like the abominable Batsquatch man.
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's a good mixture there.
Like I know some of this might just be artistic license, but this one's good. It's got a volcano in the background.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Which
cool. Volcano is a really good touch to this story. I think that makes it.
Yeah.
Makes it more.
So did the volcano eruption awaken Batsquatch or spawn Batsquatch? Like,
I like to think it did, but who knows?
Yeah, so as far as I can understand, according to the overall canon by Batsquatchologists,
The few and far
yeah,
between.
the elite.
The eruption of Mount St. Helens on May 1980 awoken Batsquatch from its lair, and thus that's the reason why we start seeing more sightings.
Oh man,
But
lost
like
his
a
home.
repulsor thing.
Yeah, Batsquatch is in effect a vagrant, a cryptid
Yeah, I was gonna
vagrant.
say he's like homeless.
Yeah, he's
he's
a
like-
transient cryptid now.
He
He
lost.
used to
It's
live
like
inside a volcano.
Yeah. Well, he lost his home because of the volcano.
Oh,
lost
I
his
see.
home to a natural disaster. It's like he's like someone
Damn.
lost their house after Katrina, just like wandering
Yeah.
around, and everyone's like,
Tragic.
"Oh, scary bat monster!" Like,
And
yeah,
the thing
that's-
is,
that's
that's
so
really
sad.
appropriate, right? And I guess that's a really appropriate segue because, like all transients, the next sighting's in California.
So wait, did he get bussed to California?
He might have.
yeah. Like,
Yeah, I
all
love
the-
this.
all
I
the
love this
pub-
idea that like Batsquatch, even though he's got wings and can fly, he just takes the Greyhound.
Yeah, you
He's
never
like,
know.
well,
the
it's
wings
only
could have
40
been
bucks.
damaged from the volcanic eruption.
That is true. Yeah. But
Also,
I
it's
mean,
like you have legs to run, right? But you don't always run. Sometimes you take the bus. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
but
he's
he can't-
tired.
well, he can't take the bus because of telekinesis. It affects
Oh,
vehicles.
that's true. Yeah, no, but
Oh,
is that
okay.
only digital
isn't he-
things?
So
So
like
like,
control it on command, or is it just
yeah,
consistent
it's just like a field of
emitting
effect.
out of him? Is it like an
So-
EMP? Like
I don't know. According to the Canfield 1994 sighting, the truck started working again when Batsquatch dipped.
what about the sighting with the car? Like because the guy was driving his car, he didn't seem to have any trouble.
Yeah,
when it,
that's the
like,
Canfield
dropped
sighting.
down. Oh, was it a truck?
Yeah, he was driving a truck, and then he saw Batsquatch in the lights, and Batsquatch was like, same description, 9 feet tall, wings.
Yeah.
In 2009, a group of hikers. Now, this was actually a little bit inconsistent because some reports say a pair of hikers, and other reports say a group of hikers.
I don't believe the story at all now.
But a group of hikers, I'm going to go with a group of hikers because I think that will still apply to a pair. But a group of hikers see a quote-unquote huge creature with leathery wings. They see it at Mount Shasta in California, and that was kind of it. And then it just dips. They describe it as a bat-like creature, but other than that, there's not a lot of information from there.
No one ever considers it could just be like, people's skin as they get older can get quite leathery. And it's
Yeah,
California, so like this, especially like if you get like a pretty bad suntan, right? It might
Oh,
just
can
be
you
like-
imagine-
Wings get pretty leathery, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea of just like Batsquatch still being a cryptid, because he's got the wings and everything. But like they've only described it as leathery because he's been baking in the sun all the time.
Yeah. Well, like, do any of these sightings actually have him flying?
Yes. So they
Oh, okay.
all kind of end with him dipping.
Oh, that's what
flies
you mean by
out.
dipping, just by like flying
Yeah.
away.
He just
Yeah.
flies.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah, he flies everywhere.
Well, I mean, people have seen him. Like, he's just trying to enjoy himself. He lost his home, and then everyone comes on. And it's like, oh my god, it's Batsquatch. And he's like, fucking hell. He just got to
Yep.
fly away again.
So the next sighting we have is in 2011. A fellow by the name of Phoenix Tierras, which, according to the cryptids fandom wiki,
That's not a
is a
real name.
pseudonym.
Yeah,
It's a
that's not a real
pseudonym.
name. That's like a Gears of War character. You can't fool me.
It's his stage name.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Or you trying? What was it? Phoenix? What was it?
Phoenix Tierras.
Yeah, there's no fucking way that's a real name.
Yeah, so it's Cliff Basinski.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say. Got the soul patch and everything.
Yeah, as he was walking, he was talking about supply and demand and why game devs actually deserve to be paid less than everybody else.
That sounds about right.
Damn. Didn't know the bats were so like into gaming.
That's how the volcano was set off, because Batsquatch was trying to play the newest release of Skyrim that he paid $60 for on his gaming laptop, and it overheated and it set off the volcanic
Damn,
activity.
in 1980, that must have been something else.
Yeah.
Well, I want to believe that Batsquatch was actually Batsquatch, but he became transient after the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and for less than minimum wage, he went into software development. That's why he's in California, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah,
Silicon
makes sense.
Valley.
I mean, he
yeah.
was homeless.
Yeah.
He just did what they always say. He learnt to code after he became homeless.
Yeah, he works
Just
for.
job at his home.
He was actually the head developer for Google Weave.
I like how the first episode we like entertained the notion of just presenting all of the sightings, and then entertain the notion and like tried to like that we were actually considering whether it's real. But this one, we're just immediately off the gate like Batsquatch. That's bullshit.
Batsquatch. Well, so like this one is a little bit difficult, right? Because Batsquatch, the thing about the Loveland frog is that like I don't know how many people actually believe in the sort of urban legend of the Loveland frog, but like a lot of people they take a lot of pride in the Loveland frog. You know, we saw all that fan art and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the
And there
merchandise.
is a very it's very
It sounds pretty sick.
it's a very sort of like local, it's a very fun local cryptid in a lot of ways, right? Batsquatch is a little bit different because I have no doubt that there's probably quite a few people out there who have a lot of pride in like the locality of Batsquatch. But one, Batsquatch apparently is not even that local.
Yeah.
Apparently he's already left Washington State
Well, that's
by
what
the
I was
90s.
gonna say. Yeah, it's like just all over the West Coast, you know.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who doesn't live in America, how far is that? How many miles is it between Washington and California? Is it pretty far?
It's a lot.
I'm guessing it has to be pretty
Yeah,
long,
that would
yeah.
be, long time.
Yeah.
I don't.
Look,
I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying
miles.
you can't walk from one place to the other within like a couple days.
Mm.
You know, it's a big. Okay. Anyhow, moving on. So Phoenix Tierras, while walking.
Yeah, famed, Yeah,
Yep.
my favorite character from Gears of War.
Of course, yes. So Phoenix Tierras, while walking out with his dog, sights something flying in the sky, which he attributes as having red glowing eyes and, again, 9 feet tall. Before I continue on, I do want to mention 9 feet tall is oftentimes a description that people who, quote-unquote, cited Batsquatch use. But something that comes to my mind is, how the fuck did they know it's 9 feet tall?
I was just thinking that because especially if it's flying
Like,
in the sky, like
I would not be able to tell the difference between a guy who's like 6'6" and 7 feet. I'd be
Yeah.
all like, dude, they're both very tall.
and especially like from a distance, because like
Yeah.
if you saw it flying in the sky, unless it was flying like so low that he could like
Yeah,
reach up
like,
and
are you gonna
tickle
be
his
all like,
knob, you know?
Like, how are you able to calculate the distance of something's height based upon it being in the sky? You're just like, yep, that's 9 feet.
Also, like
mathematician.
yeah,
Yeah,
and like
okay.
the nature of like flying, right? Like the position that Batsquatch would be flying in is probably not the same as like his posture when he's standing, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Well, what I'm confused here is that has anyone ever seen anything fly that's 9 feet tall that isn't like a fucking plane?
Yeah.
I would say a hang glider.
Really fucking big one.
Could
big
you
hang
tell
glider.
how big a hang glider is from the distance that you'd see it?
No,
No,
possibly.
absolutely
Like, yeah, that's
not.
definitely a 12 feet tall hang glider opposed to like a 20.
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
Well, that
not possible.
again. It comes back to like the thing of like maybe it was just a pretty big bat, but they mistook especially because it's in the sky. They have
Yeah.
no other frame of reference.
Misjudged
and so
the
they were
distance.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, they just had really bad depth perception. Maybe this is just a sign they all needed to go to the optometrist. or the
Yeah,
ophthalmologist, and get their
So I
eyesight
cannot
checked.
believe that all of the Batsquatch sightings were by people with terrible vision.
Could be.
And also,
I mean,
who are on copious amounts of LSD.
Could be a big
Yes.
bird too. I mean, it's not like just like birds get bigger than bats. So.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, that
to
would
be
be
fair, there are some
hilarious if there
pretty
was
big
a
bats, aren't
cryptid.
there?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's actually going to show up in one of the reasons against Batsquatch. um,
Yeah.
what? What you find funny about that, huh?
That's true.
I'm
Because we haven't. Yeah, we've been
yeah.
umming and ahhing this whole time about the validity
Yes.
of Batsquatch.
Look, I understand. I understand that both of you are on the fence so far about Batsquatch.
Yeah.
I'm a little. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
little.
well, I got on the
bit
fence so I
suspicious.
could get a better view of Batsquatch flying in the sky. Because I'm like, is that
That's true. And
is that
you're
is
still
that
like,
9
it's
inches
either-
or 9 feet? You know.
It's 9 inches to 22 feet.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
we all add a couple inches, okay? We all add a couple.
Yeah.
inches.
Right. Exactly. You know.
Yes. Hell yes.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like Batsquatch himself. Batsquatch is actually like a 5-foot king, but he just he goes online and he tries to it's like, oh yeah,
tries
he's
to pick it up
9
a
feet
bit.
Oh, yeah,
tall
he's-
and he's shredded
oh,
and he's really muscular and he's got a massive cock
Telekinetic
and
power.
He's describing
yeah,
himself.
yeah, he's got telepathic powers. And he came up with the name like River Phoenix. What was it again? Phoenix.
River Phoenix. River Phoenix is like he's an actor.
Yeah, I know. But what was the name? Phoenix.
Very
It's
tragically died.
Phoenix Tierman. What was it?
Yeah, Phoenix Tierraz.
Tierez. Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
come up with a better name if you're gonna do something.
So,
So-
this is a dog walker. So this is separate from the group of hikers. But is this still California?
Yes, this is well, the thing is, I don't know.
Oh.
This is the only details about the report that I can find, which is Phoenix Tierraz, which is a name I cannot find at all corroborated in any of the newspapers because there's no newspaper report. So I have no idea where cryptids.fandom.wiki found this info. All right, but
You're-
this is one
you're
of the
not
sites.
Assuming they made it up, are you?
Huh? I have no idea. I have to trust in the good faith of the people the cryptozoologists on the internet.
Yeah, they've never lied before.
When did
that's-
the Batsquatch beer first? When was that first brewed? Do you know?
Oh, you think that maybe it was?
Yeah, because if the timeline lines up, then it could
Oh.
have just been invented by the
Some
by
sort
the
of
brewery.
publicity stunt.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit more of a contemporary beer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think a bunch of people were just like, dude, you know what'd be cool? Like if we took advantage of this eruption of Mount St. Helens and just made a hazy IPA.
Eric Cartman went into the beer brewing business.
That sounds like something he'd do.
Hey guys, how's it going? So this one is a little bit different. So in 2014, a high school in Akron, Ohio, the second period Spanish class witnessed.
That's
a
very
9
specific. The second
Very
period
specific.
Spanish class, not the
Second.
first, not the third.
I think the funniest thing is that it's only the second period Spanish class.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no other class.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
these
no,
guys.
Well, because all of the classes
there's-
at that time would have had been in the same.
there's
location,
a little
right?
bit. There's a little bit more to this.
Oh.
That is interesting. So they witnessed a 9 foot tall. So again, 9 feet, 9 foot
Jeez.
tall, 20 to 30 foot wingspan creature.
Whoa,
Which
that's a long wingspan.
Yeah, that's a
oh
fuck.
yeah, that's a long wingspan.
Sure wasn't
So they witnessed-
747? Again, they can't judge. They have no concept of depth perception. It was just a plane. It flew close to the sun, so it became
just
very
see-
silhouetted. And they were like, "Holy shit! Look at that giant bat creature!"
They just see a plane in the sky. There's like it's a bat
Yeah,
squatch.
it's Batsquatch. I'm a big fan of the beer. Can I have your autograph?
So this is again outside of Washington State. This is in Akron, Ohio. So we're
all the-
moved beyond California.
Yes,
as
all
well.
across the contiguous United States.
Yeah, he's sighted all over the place.
I
but
guess.
again,
I guess he
we're
can
at
fly,
9
so that's not
yeah.
that crazy.
But the
to
thing
think,
here is
but-
right when you take a look at his more famous cousin, Mothman. Mothman tends to stick to very specific places. There are people who say, for instance, like they've seen like Mothman like in like their area outside of the general Mothman locale, but there's a little bit of a politics to Mothman because oftentimes people who consider themselves like big Mothman people will be all like, That's not a legitimate sighting.
Imagine gatekeeping that shit.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being gatekept by cryptozoologists.
Yeah.
As we know,
showing a theory
Mothman
now.
never leaves home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mothman tends to stick around, the places he, likes, like lamp number 1.
This particular sighting is really interesting because it was noted to have began on April 16th, 2014. Uh, Again, it came from the Cryptids fandom wiki. It's really difficult to find out any information as to where this came from because, funny enough, despite the fact that there are so many sources out there that are saying like, hey, this came from April 16th, and this was cited on April 16, 2014 by the second floor Spanish class of this high school out of Akron, Ohio. Despite the
This
fact
sounds like
that
it would
all
be local news.
yeah, so that's what I thought, right? So I start
An entire class in the middle of the day?
Yeah.
See a
So
giant bat?
Like those two
Yeah.
nerds were playing Pokemon Go on the news. Yeah, they're like 30-something kids corroborating
and
the
so
story.
here's the thing,
This
right?
is definitely local news.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. There are a lot of websites out there that do mention that sighting, the April 16, 2014 sighting, and they all have the exact same info. So I started digging into that. I thought, okay, I've got to be able to find it. So usually when we're talking about like the immediacy or the sort of relevance of a sighting, you can filter Google search results, right, based upon the age of the page cache. So the first thing you would do, right, is, okay, if it was cited in 2014, you would immediately filter all the results to only stuff that came out in 2014 to see exactly what might have come out. Can't find anything except for the Cryptids fandom wiki.
I'm implying
So-
they may have also made this up.
Yeah.
Well, this gets interesting. So I start looking up articles that came out a little bit later because maybe there would have been some sort of delay or some sort of reporting sort of discrepancy. So I start looking up into the pages that came out in 2015, and so that's where we start to get a little bit more information. However, all of those blogs once again fall back to the Cryptids fandom wiki. So
it's a case
I
of
go to the source page. And the original source page publication for the mention of the April 16th sighting came out actually on 2 days after the actual sighting. And that brings me to a website called Mythologia, which was written entirely in Spanish, and the only mention of Batsquatch at that time was from this particular website, which also lists a bunch of other cryptids. So I feel like what might have actually happened was this particular sighting was referencing the Mythologia entry, which may or may not have just been some guy making shit up. Because there were absolutely no sources to actually corroborate this sighting. I could not find anything at all. And sorry, it was April 14th. The April 16th was the actual day that this entry was put onto the Cryptids fandom wiki website. There is nothing to back up this claim. Could not find any students who said, oh, I was one of the students and I'm going to go on to the news and say that I've seen it. I couldn't even find any news article about this. None at all. The only one is, and so I think this is just another example of just how absolutely incestuous the information of the cryptid community is, because they're all just citing each other.
Yeah, it's like cytogenesis.
Yeah, but none of them have actually seemed to be digging deep into exactly where this information comes from, because they're all just by nature trusting that this information is legit. But I cannot find anything outside of this circle to actually corroborate this info. Maybe it does exist out there, but it's definitely not something I could find, at least in the span of a week.
With Batsquatch, Batsquatch is just the one? Is because like with the Loveland Frog, there was the original sighting. There was 3 of them, and so the implication is there's a whole race of Loveland frogmen.
You have to.
Yeah.
Well, if the first sighting is 1980, then this thing must be getting pretty old.
Yeah.
By the time of like 2014.
Yeah.
So that's the thing again, right? It said that the sightings came out in 1980 after the eruption of Mount St. Helens, but there are actually very, very few traceable stories that I could find. Um, like people say the sightings came out 1980s after the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Well, okay, who saw it? Who said that people were saying that? There's very little concrete information to sort of track and say like, okay, well, because like for instance, when we're talking about Loveland, we have one in with the Loveland Frog. We have got the 1955 Naomi Johnson sighting on August 21st, 1955. She got grabbed by some creepy molester guy in the pond. Like we have that.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
went
he's
on.
like snorkeling underneath, just waiting, like,
Yeah.
got like green paint on his hand, like I'll make her think it was a
Like-
cryptid, but I'm just trying to cop a feel.
And she's like, "Oh my god, it's a frog!" And just like this poor woman got molested.
Yeah.
She got sexually attacked. And the thing is, we have interviews in magazines, in papers of her saying like this is something that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have that with Batsquatch. There are no 1980 sightings that I could track back. It's literally just it's so difficult to track down, especially even the details of like say the 1955 salesman sighting of the Loveland Frog. I mentioned how that one was really, really difficult to actually corroborate and say like, who is this salesman? What proof of them actually exists? We don't even have that. We have very few details of exactly what kind of sightings emerged in the 1980s after the eruption of Mount St. Helens. It's all hearsay. And it's always like anecdotal hearsay of just like, oh, I remember my uncle telling me about, this. It's just like, well, your uncle is not a trustworthy source. I need a newspaper article, or I need something that says like, this person made this claim. And that didn't happen until the 1994 sighting by Brian Canfield.
We almost said Bryan Cranston.
So what's crazier is that after the 94 Canfield sighting, we did get more quasi-traceable sightings, but once again, we run into that wall of how like none of these sightings can really be traced back. Like, who the hell's Phoenix Tierres?
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue.
A fake name.
Yeah, it's a pseudonym, to be fair.
It's a pseudonym, but even the Phoenix Tierres, article, like where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea.
And it's so
Because
suspicious
when you
that
look
it's all specifically like the details are the same, because it's like it's
Yeah.
always 9 foot. Because again, with the Loveland Frog, it
it's
was
always
at least
9 foot.
Loveland Frog was 3 to 4 feet, so it's like
Yeah.
they're approximating, but it's always
The-
9 foot with the Batsquatch
It's
sightings.
always 9 foot. Yeah, it's
Yeah, another
always
damning
9 feet.
thing to me, at least, is that this 2014 sighting should definitely have more paper trail online. Because of
Yes.
the time period it's in, because it's in like a smaller town.
And it's so specific. It actually names the exact school,
Mm.
and there is
Yeah.
nothing that I could find from
you
that
think
school.
it'd be on their website or something,
Yeah.
or you think there'd be something in
Yeah.
the local
Are you-
news? or the
We
news
saw the
online?
local Batsquatch.
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
they'd be like, we saw a bat creature because like if it's the middle of the day, it's a whole class.
Local news eats this shit up.
Yeah, this is easy.
They love eating this shit up. Like, so for example, we've got the case of Brian Canfield. That came from the local news. It came from the News Tribune. A reporter wrote that incredibly goosebumpsy like description.
Yeah.
You're really about
Uh,
ham.
They interviewed, like an actual reporter interviewed the guy and was just like, okay, I interviewed this kid. This is what he said. If you want to take a look at a major event that like was heavily reported, look at the Arizona lights, the Phoenix lights. That was reported by
Tierres lights. Maybe it's all coming full circle.
Yeah, you look at the Phoenix lights and the reporting that happened about there. News, like local news everywhere, was just like, yeah, people are seeing something because they love talking about this shit because this draws eyes.
Yeah.
However, it's insane that there's no information about this second period Spanish class. Apparently, they saw a 9 foot tall, 20 to 30 feet wingspan thing, and then there's just no other information on it.
Yeah, it really does. It kind of drives the theory that like someone came up with this, like someone who's like into the
Yeah.
paranormal and wanted to put their own like spin on it,
Yeah.
came up with the idea of Batsquatch and then just did everything they could to like try to spread it, and it just seems like it's
Yeah,
incredibly easy
And-
to, because people are wanting to, I don't know, expand the horizons of expand the
Especially with
canon
the
of.
class thing, because in that situation, are they just seeing it from the far distance in the class? Like, did it come up to the window and tap or something?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, that thing was
the kind of details that are just...
like one kid was just staring out the window and was like, "Holy shit, it's Batsquatch!" Or did they all? Or did they
at
all
that
look
point,
at the
it-
same time?
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's a second period Spanish class,
Yeah.
so he would probably be like,
Dios
"Es el
mío!"
Batsquatch." Dios mío. Es el Batsquatch.
yeah,
Even hypothetically, right? They're in class.
Yeah.
They see something that far away that's flying. Like, that could be a man in a glider. I don't know. It could be a fucking plane. Like, there's such little detail here.
So, like,
Something so specific.
and like,
yeah, so like that's one of the things that I think is relevant to this thing, right? Like a while ago, we had this like saga of just like a rocket ship man, or like a jetpack man, which was this. It was just this object in the sky around LAX that looked like a guy with like a jetpack on, and he was like floating around like 20,000 feet or something very, very high, or at least much higher than like jetpacks would allow. He was reported on by local news.
yeah,
Like, we could trace that back. We can trace the back of the sightings.
yeah, and
We
you gotta
can't trace back the sightings for Batsquatch.
And also, like, you got to think like a class of like I'm assuming, I don't know how big a class of the high school class is in the United States. I'm assuming it's around 20 to 30 kids, right? But like you got a group of like 20 to 30 kids. Not all of them are going to unanimously be like, that was Batsquatch.
Yeah.
Like
How do they even know what it is? They're from Ohio. Like, that's like... I didn't know the fucking Batsquatch. Who the fuck knows what a Batsquatch?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
Batsquatch to this episode. Why did they all jump to Batsquatch?
Well, first of all right, I would understand why you guys wouldn't know Batsquatch, because you're foreigners.
Oh, okay.
So are you.
Mr.
You're
American.
talking about United States cryptids.
They cannot know that. All right? They can't know that I'm foreign. All right. So let's go to the next section, which is, what are the reasons against Batsquatch?
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, that's
Yeah.
Listen, Sasquatch, I get it.
Yeah.
Batsquatch, I don't.
yeah.
I feel like
more
I gave a good shakedown on
Yeah, more like-
what Batsquatch is.
more like Sasquatch. Got him.
Yes. Wait, what?
Yeah, like the video game Among Us, you know.
Oh, okay, I understand.
I don't think our viewers will understand.
No, you gotta explain. So the Among Us is a video game where you play as
Among Us is a video game.
the Among
where
Us character. You play as the red imposter, and
you describe the video game with the title Among Us is a video game where you play as the Among Us characters.
They also have a Batsquatch outfit.
yeah, they probably do.
I'd be like, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a TV show featuring the Neon Genesis Evangelion characters.
You ever see that scene in 1 Hour Photo where like you have like fucking Robin Williams and he got the kid with the cat and he's like, what's this? It's like, oh, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah, it's this one of the heroes.
What's this guy?
Didn't he call it like Evangelion or something?
Yeah.
He said Evangelion.
And he holds up one of the MP Avas, the mass-produced Avas, and he's like, "This is one of the heroes."
They're just making up shit.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he. I mean, doesn't he play a bad guy in that film?
Yeah.
Maybe he does. Maybe that's just an in character for him. He's
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
this is one of the heroes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
makes shit.
Like that guy, the shooter who watched American History X and thought that it was someone. He's like, I like the first half.
That was a great film.
Yeah.
So
Have we ever seen any media interpretations of Batsquatch outside this drink? Have we ever seen him on a TV show and an animated thing or a movie?
I was going to say the hazy IPA. Hazy
Hmm.
beer IPA, Batsquatch. That beer's a media.
That's true. But like the
That's
Loveland
local media,
Frog,
isn't it?
right, had like T-shirts and all these different kind of things. But I guess it was because it was part of the town, the town identity, right?
I am sure some local high school out there has him as their like football mascot.
Right. Yeah.
I do remember reading an article, or I guess you would call it a blog, right? Just a blog post, by somebody who essentially described Batsquatch as a Scooby Doo like villain, because that's kind of what he feels like.
That's yeah.
Zoink, Scoob!
Yeah,
etc. etc.
I get so hung up on the 9-foot thing because like
it's so specific,
and it's like you don't really have anything you can like it's like obviously if you say someone was about 6 foot, because well humans tend to be about 6 foot, so you have like a mental reference when you compare it in your head. But like I can't think of anything I know off the top of my head that's 9 feet tall that I can like is recognizably 9 feet
like
tall.
8 feet, like around 8 feet.
I don't know. Yeah, so like that's one of the things, right? It's just like, I mean, that's oftentimes like a telltale sign that somebody's bullshitting, right? When they're like their measurement of a recall is so specific, you know, like because like they have a story planned out already, you know. It kind of reminds me of that bit from The Office when they have that quote unquote secret meeting, and then Andy is like telling his version of the events, and all of the details are super specific. He's like, I had a salad, but I was watching my carbs, so I didn't get the I didn't get the Parmesan. The waiter's name was Flo. She was really nice. She's trying to pay for her kids going through college. She had auburn hair. Like he just kept adding details.
Right.
People would remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the details are too clear and like a recollection like that, it's like yeah,
like the Goosebumps recollection of the only one we have on local television, on local media, wherever it be. That it knew he was like an off blue and was yellow eyes and 9 foot tall. Used his telekinetic psychic powers to disrupt
and had a dimple on the left cheek and had piercing greenish blue eyes.
I mean, if it's the middle of the night and you see something fucking spooky, I don't know if you're going to be able to relate that many details. It was like, I don't know, it's a fucking bat thing. It was big. It was pretty big. It was scary.
Yeah.
And to recall, right?
I got jumped once, right? My friends got jumped once, right? And then when we were telling the police about what happened, none of us could remember what their fucking car looked like.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you gonna it's like even like a situation that's scary. It's like your brain kicks in and like the fight or flight response kicks in, and it's like it's got other priorities than remembering the specific details of like which Batsquatch nut hung lower than the other.
It was like it was a smoke blue Oldsmobile Cutlass.
The problem is, this all sounds like a fucking television show, like detective show, where it's Monk or something. It's these savant characters that just like remember every tiny minuscule event of like what they just saw.
I mean, like realistically, right? Like a recollection would have been okay, can you describe the suspect? He's like, he was black. Is that racist? He was tall, like 6 feet, I guess. It's just like, can you describe what he looked like? I don't know. He had a hat on.
Suspect is hatless. Repeat, hatless.
Hatless.
Yeah, because usually, like, an eyewitness report of something is usually not very reliable.
No, it's like one of the worst. Especially in like court of law, it's usually one of the least reliable forms of evidence because people's memories are just so shit. Yeah.
So let's talk about the reasons why Batsquatch doesn't exist. Or might not
because
exist.
It's fucking stupid.
No, that's not one of the
to be
reasons
fair, if we could say that for every episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but wait until we get to a series one, and then let's see assholes try and pull that out. I'll be like, yeah, have you ever heard of Area 51?
Whoa.
The second reason is that, so I've mentioned this before, very few of these sightings can be corroborated. Phoenix Tierez is not a real name, it's a pseudonym. I don't know who any of the kids in the second period Spanish class are. The hikers here, I don't know if it's a pair or if it's a group. Some of it has reported a pair, some of it's reported a group. And even then, reading a little bit more details about these hikers, they themselves had said initially it looked like a pterodactyl, but it was probably a bat. So they can't be trusted. Yeah, they described it as a pterodactyl.
Those are very, very dramatically different things.
Yes.
Yeah, but see, I would believe that a kid thought he saw a pterodactyl more than a kid thought he saw a Batsquatch.
Batsquatch?
Because a pterodactyl is something that people are familiar with, right? They have like a
Well,
reference.
we don't know if it's a definite or an indefinite noun. You know, maybe it's the same Batsquatch. Maybe he actually is a transient cryptid.
How did the? All right, could this just be a vulture? Like, I'm seriously, could this just be a vulture, right?
Yeah, it could
Like,
just
these
be
people just never seen a fucking big bird before.
vulture. Well, in California, maybe the California sighting.
In
I don't know, they would have
California,
to be-
definitely, condors would.
But then again, like, would
Condors
people
have
in California,
huge wingspans.
people in California surely would know what a freaking vulture looks like. I could believe more maybe like
maybe
a
it lost
vulture.
its feathers though. Maybe that's it. That like because it's talking about
Yeah.
being leathery. Maybe
I
like
could
it's
understand,
one that's
like-
just like it's had its feathers picked off and something.
So this
True.
is the thing, right? One of the things about like the whole like people in California would know what a vulture is. One of the things about that is that again, we do not understand we don't understand the context by which they see these animals or the context about them as humans, because it could be like, I came to California for work and then I saw
Right.
this thing, must be Batsquatch or
Yeah, true.
something, you know. And they've just never seen a condor before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, all of the sightings have pretty decent animal alternatives. So, for instance, 2009 hiking sightings, they said that it might have probably just been a fox-tailed bat.
Mm-hmm.
So, Batsquatch might have just been a bat.
It could have just been about.
So, man,
Holy
bat-
shit!
Well, I was gonna say, like with Batsquatch, like what kind of diet does Batsquatch have? Is he more like a gorilla or is he
Because
more
he's
like
a
a fruit bat?
vegetarian, right?
Yeah, because
Well-
if he's a fruit bat, he's just gonna be. Just going
Well,
on
so,
about
like,
Any cases of
peaches,
him attacking people.
Yeah.
So, again, right, to go back to that incredibly annoyingly written Portland Ghosts article, they described it, and I'm quoting. So before anybody thinks, "Oh my God, Joe, why do you write like this?" I'm quoting the Portland Ghosts article, right? 9-foot tall creature weighing 2 grown grizzly bears with yellow eyes, blue tinged dark fur, razor sharp teeth, a wolf like muzzle, bird like wings, a broad muscle bound torso.
Oh, he ripped.
He's shredded.
Yeah, he's ripped.
Guess
Apparently
in,
he's
baby.
ripped.
Guess in.
And I'll put it in the show notes, right? But there actually is a artist's rendition of Brian Canfield's Batsquatch, and it's just a giant jacked purple dude with bat wings. I guess I'll just probably put this on the YouTube portion as well, but if you are listening to this on a podcast, it's going to be in the show notes. To Steve and Jaden, this is an artist sat down, you know, like a crime portrait, and was just like, okay, describe the perp, and this is what they got.
Okay. Holy shit! Holy shit! He's so fucking buff.
Oh
Oh,
my
my
God.
god.
He's jacked.
Dude, those thighs, man, he does
Yeah.
not skip leg day.
He looks like a Rob Liefeld
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Those wings are not 20 feet long either.
Yeah.
Those are some smaller wings. And
What's
I
up with
have
that
been
head?
told.
What's he looking
Yeah.
at?
I love that they have it in quotation marks. It's the Batsquatch. Like quotation
Yeah.
marks.
Batsquatch, yeah.
And I love that the dude had to put his like ludicrously complicated signature like on.
Oh
the
yeah, I
drawing.
love that he's just like, people need to know that
Yeah,
this is something
this
I
is-
made. I made this jacked as shit bat.
Anyway, I believe it. It's true.
Well,
Okay,
this picture
well,
sells it.
This
Well,
picture's
okay,
convinced
before-
me. You know,
Before you sarcastically deride the
there's
story
no
of
sarcasm.
Batsquatch,
There. It's
all
just
right?
true, man.
Let me give you actually a reason why Batsquatch,
It's
you
real.
know, may be real.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, and there's one reason that I think is really compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
You got
You
me.
got us again.
I mean, look at this. This dude
Yeah.
could like bench. I don't know, like
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
500
this is
pounds, you know, like
dude, this is the kind of physique that you would put on like Natty or Juice, and it'd be like, "What do you guys think?" And then they'd be like, "This man's on trend."
yeah. Why is one of his arms is lower than the other?
Well, I assume the higher arm is like the jack off arm. You know?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a comic book character waiting to happen, surely.
Yeah,
Batsquatch.
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think there's something really funny about this, though, right? Which is that, like, when you look at like the sort of later renditions of Batsquatch by lesser artists, in my opinion, when you
Yeah.
look at the later renditions of Batsquatch, they're not as jacked. I mean, they're bulky, but they're not this jacked.
Yeah. See, it's much more fun if he's jacked. The reason that the eruption of the volcano happened was because he was doing too many push-ups.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the one that made the
Yeah,
volcano
he
erupt.
made the volcano.
literally like forced the volcano to erupt. He just flexed and like the shockwaves from that. It's like all the technology working it's not an EMP. It's just that the technology is just like, god damn.
How does he keep up these games?
Yeah, he must. That's what I'm saying. What's his diet? Because if he's you can't get that on like a fruit bat diet.
Yeah, what if this was like a superhero or some shit?
Yeah.
You know? Smacked on his car, he's like fucking. That was just Batman.
Yep. So it's real.
Some real justice there.
Yeah.
It's real. I believe it.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Steve? Do you think this Batsquatch is real?
You know what? This time I'm gonna have to go with no.
Okay.
Wow. There's already a civil
I
war.
don't-
I see.
Well, it's just to me the frog people sounded much more convincing, just because I could believe they saw some frogs at that time period in that nightscape. That there could have been some weird ass frogs happening, or some frog boys, like I said. That very a frog, something like that. This one I find very hard to believe that it isn't just like a bat.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
just
this
like,
one.
they're just making shit up.
Yeah, that's this one. Like I believe some of the Loveland Frog stuff. I believe people thought they saw something, but this one I just think all of it just sounds like bullshit.
Because we have very little like even the things we do have are just like this was written by like a fucking failed lit student.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Like,
Goosebumps ghostwriter.
Yeah,
And like the thing, right? Like when we go back to like the Loveland Frog, right? Going back to the Loveland Frog, we have the 2016 Sam Jacobs like sighting, which is probably 99% a Fisher solar frog. Just a lawn ornament, right? But the thing is, at the end of the day, Fox News reported on it.
Yeah.
yeah, and of course
like-
they did because it's local news. It's like Fox
Yeah.
9 or whatever the website.
Yeah, they reported on it. But here, I can't find anything on like actual Batsquatch reporting other than the News Tribune 1994 article. Everything else is literally just cytogenesis, like just people just referencing other cryptid stuff. And it
gets
just
a bit
becomes a
suspicious
circle.
when it's like a Spanish-only site as well, because I feel like that this would have been written in English first if it was from Ohio. Like I don't know if anyone in that class is that dedicated to writing.
Yeah, so learning Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's
Maybe.
it.
You know what? I'm
Maybe
a little disappointed in Batsquatch. I thought he would be a lot
I am
funnier
too.
than he
Yeah,
was in practice.
Batsquatch turned out. It started with the story of 50 plus people dying in a terrible natural disaster,
And then it
it
became
was-
about the follies of cryptid reporting.
Yeah, it just
I was
became some
excited by the
dude's
potential here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is some kaiju level shit. Like it lives in a fucking volcano. It comes out and attacks people. Like there could be some really cool stuff in here. It just was like, someone saw him like in this
Yeah, but
state,
that's-
and someone saw him in that state.
It's just someone's failed first
In the
sonar,
past.
But the thing is, Steve, that's all like cryptid, like kaiju superhero fan fiction bullshit. Okay, this is about the facts.
Oh, okay.
All right, this is a fact-based podcast,
I understand. Yeah, we were really going in there.
and the facts say that there's something going on in the cryptid community.
We're gonna. Get
I
to
wonder
the
what it
bottom
could
of this.
be.
Yeah.
Is it tax
Yeah.
evasion?
That is entirely possible.
All right. Okay. So I think it's time to talk about or at least lead into the next one. So we are going to go back to Ohio.
Oh fuck!
Oh no!
We're
Not
good on.
For
again.
the third time?
Yeah.
We're going to go back to Ohio. Yeah. The third
We
time.
might as well call this the Ohio podcast at this point.
Ohio Paranormal.
Yeah. What happened? Man, Ohio is popping. Jeez, with the
Yeah,
paranormal.
yeah, dude. So, the first one, we talked about frogs, and second one we talked
Not
about
frog men. We talking about frogs.
We're just talking about frogs,
Yeah,
big
it's-
frogs.
second one we talked about bats. So let's talk about something a little bit different. Let's talk about something that's not cryptids, right? So, third episode we're going to be talking about haunted house.
Oh,
We're gonna talk
that
about-
guy's popping.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about the Belair house.
The Blair Witch House.
The Belair house.
The Bulair,
And,
the bulimia house.
And I'm going to see if I can get us some EVPs to listen to.
Oh fuck!
Hell yeah.
Get Zach
that's gonna be
Baggins in on
spooky.
this.
Yes.
All right, one final question though: how big do bats actually get? Because it's like 4 or 5 feet, isn't it? They might be longer. I think that I swear it's
I
like
have
giant bats. in
no
Australia.
idea. I have no idea, but I
Maybe
think
in,
it's pretty
like-
big.
In Indonesia, they could probably get massive. Let's see.
Again, it's just like back to like Indonesia.
Oh, because it's on the equator.
Location.
It's on the equator. It's forested
hotter
as
it
hell.
It's crazy because there are arguably some cryptids out there that do have pretty interesting and compelling evidence. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean,
Later down the road.
I'm a believer of the Loch Ness. I've been looking into it more, and I'm actually like, I think it's 100% true. I think there's something there.
Please support. Steve is trying to drain the lake. Yeah.
Drain.
He's trying to drain Loch Ness, so please support us on.
I'm doing
please
with a
support our
straw,
Kickstarter.
So I'm doing the 4-way. I'm gonna suck it out myself.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to hire Badlands Chug to drink up the entire Loch Ness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank
I
you,
don't know if it's
everybody.
salt water or not, but if it does, I might be fucked.
Come on, let him end the podcast already. I'm tired.
All right, we're fucking done. All right.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye bye.